everybody for coming. We really appreciate that. We're going to just embark on a little bit of information about this young man next to me. But before I start, I want to introduce myself. My name is Blair Anderson. You may know me as the director of Silverworks Studio and Gallery. What you may not know is that I'm also the co-founder of Exnihilo Inc. Exnihilo is all about creating opportunities and space for people to pursue their creative potential, primarily in the U.S. and also in the Bahamas. So in 2013, Exnihilo began a residency program for junior artists, emerging artists, mid-career, and senior artists at Silverworks. The Exnihilo residents are awarded free classes, free studio time, an exhibition at the end of their residency, and in the case of our junior artists, we photograph their work for their college portfolio. Since 2013, we've hosted 10 artists at Silverworks and 1 in the Bahamas. I am proud to say that the juniors that have gone through our program have gone on to colleges like RISD, Pratt, and Ringling. Those in the program benefit from studio access, but also get to tap into the vast knowledge of all of the Silverworks staff, some of the work that you're seeing here. Now, Mr. Louis Kutyla, sitting next to me here, is the newest recipient of our program and was initially awarded the residency in 2016. Then he moved into an internship program with us, and then we extended his program because he's just so fabulous and we couldn't let him go. So it was just the way it was. So we are finishing up his residency now. My first question is, what brought you to Silverworks to start with?
So in 2016, I broke my leg, and I used to run, and I was bored out of my mind because I couldn't run. So I was surfing the web for classes, and this popped up.
So it was total serendipity.
Total luck, yeah.
Total luck. All right. Then what happened?
Then I took a class. I guess I made a piece that impressed you.
Yeah, you started doing hollow forms in the 5th session, which people, you have to know that that's like 2 years, 5 years down the road. That just doesn't happen. So, well, I've known you now for about 2.5 years. At what point in the residency program did it land for you that this was going to be your medium?
It landed pretty early on. I couldn't give an exact time, but it stuck. It stuck really quickly.
Was there a particular piece that you did that made you go, "This is it. This is what I want to do for however long"?
I don't know if there was. I don't know if there was a particular piece. I think it was just like the fact that I could make, like, the things in my head could materialize, which was really cool because I couldn't do that with drawing. I couldn't do that with a lot of the other mediums I had been exploring, so that was cool for me.
Very cool. So this is a loaded question, but how has the Exnihilo residency affected you?
I mean, well, it got me into college, so that's one thing.
That was our goal?
Yeah, that was good. I mean, it like fostered a passion. Like I've never taken to something so, like, with so much, I don't know what the right word is, gusto.
Which you have to understand that he's in the studio more than I am. So when it started, and now in the summertime, of course, you were in there more than I am, and at ungodly hours too. So that's the other thing. What time were you here this week? You were here 3 days a week at like 8 o'clock in the morning or something.
Oh yeah, like 7:38, something like that.
Right. So your style has evolved from the beginning. It was a little more organic. How would you describe it now?
I would say it's pretty architectural. It's architectural, but it's definitely, it has roots in like the organic stuff that I started with, I think.
Because I mean, you're a mountain climber. Well, not a mountain climber, but a climber, and you enjoy the outdoors. So Is that part of your inspiration?
Definitely, and I think it's kind of like taking those forms, taking things from nature, and like mixing them with more geometric and like architectural forms and patterns and things like that that kind of drives the work now, I think.
So is there any one artist that influences your work?
I don't think there's a particular artist. Looking at art has shaped the way I think.
Because you expose
More
yourself
than
to a lot.
it does. Yeah, but I think that is like it's more about the way I think than the style. Which is not to say that my style is totally like creative and unique and like something that's purely out of my own head. But like it's not to say it's uninfluenced, but it's definitely I don't have one artist that
it's inspiring
I think
your process more.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's move on to your process, and we'll start talking about this amazing piece behind me.
Okay.
What prompted you to do frieze?
So it's based off the shooting of Walter Scott. That's what prompted it, because I watched that video and had like a really visceral reaction to that video.
But the structure of it, I mean, the idea of creating something that had this kind of structure, where did that come from?
I don't really know. It popped into my head in chemistry class. So the first sketch I have of this piece is like on some worksheet, it's like in some binder. Yeah.
Did it evolve at all, or was it pretty much the way you depicted it?
It was pretty much fully formed. The first sketch is almost identical to the piece.
The ceramic part of it, where did that come from?
That was me and my brother messing around with pellet guns in the woods, I think. Yeah.
Just describe a little bit about what you did to make those.
So I rolled out porcelain slabs and then shot them with a pellet gun, so that it would like explode outwards and
To depict
exit wounds. Yeah. Yeah.
And why the grid? Why the structure?
Okay, so the idea was that it could be moved proportionally to anybody's body, so anyone could wear it and still map the exit wounds on Walter Scott.
Anything else you want us to say about frieze?
Well, the one thing that I really struggle with is like, I guess the idea of the white savior, and I kind of struggle with like whether it's my place to be commenting on like stuff like this as a white teen. But I kind of think that it's really important to, like, when you have such a strong reaction to something, it's really important to like put what you have to say out there. And
So, do you foresee in the future that some of your work is going to be more of a reaction rather than just wearable art?
yeah, I mean, I like the idea of, well, whether it's a reaction or whether it's just conceptually driven, I like the idea of having concept in the work rather than just being nice things to wear.
Now, I've seen you become technically proficient by leaps and bounds ahead of anything I've ever seen before. How has your technical ability informed or driven what you're able to do now? Like, what has that influenced what you're choosing to make? Because
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I've started attempting things I would have never. I mean, like, the ability that you develop really kind of like opens doors as to like the types of things that you can make and the designs that you can like conceive of, I guess.
So tell us about the pill, the one behind me.
So
Sorry, I'm sitting in front of it.
The pill was, I started maybe about a year ago teaching myself computer-aided design, and this was kind of like the beginning of that exploration. So we cast a 3D print, and we actually cast, the whole form, but one half was usable and one half was not. So I raised the other half, which I think is cool because it's like the merging of the old and the new.
So explain to everybody what raising is.
So raising is like taking a flat sheet of metal and hammering it into 3D forms.
So was that technique used in the teapot?
Yes, so the inner compartment of the teapot is completely raised. And it's cool because this piece was like a really great practice piece for the teapot. And obviously they're pretty, I mean, there are definitely some strong ties between those two pieces.
Yeah, design-wise as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. So why the teapot?
It started off as a conversation with Heather. And we thought it would be fun if we made teapots. And I thought like it would be a really fun technical challenge, but it became kind of more than a technical challenge. Like I really got excited about the design, and I think I made something
quite a
that
bit of time with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it. Like a little conversation started a 5-month project or something like that.
So Heather's actually was one of our artist residents, our emerging artists, a couple of years ago, and now she's become part of my staff. So she did the throwdown of the teapot throwdown, and then she backed off and didn't do it.
Ruth did though.
Ruth did. So Ruth's got a crocheted teapot. So she did her technique, which is crocheted work. I started one, and it's laid out in my studio at home, and I wasn't able to finish it. But Louis clearly made the finish line with his. So something I've observed in you that is just fascinating, and it's been fun to watch, is when you have a problem to solve and there's no tool available to solve it, what's your tendency?
I like to make the tool. Yeah, necessity is the mother of invention, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So describe a couple of these tools that you made and why and
So-
what they were used for.
Yeah, so for the pill, I made a special dapping block, which is like it's a piece of wood that's used for sinking metal, shaping metal, because we didn't have the right size dapping block. And I've made stakes because we didn't have the right stake.
There's a picture of you with a wooden block and the circles, the rings.
Oh, yes, I made a template so I could bend the vertical, I don't know what to call them.
The cage.
Yeah, of the cage, yeah. So, I could make each one exactly the same. And I just recently used that technique in, like, the piece I'm working on right now. So, some things.
The most recent tool.
Oh, the most recent tool. Okay, so it's a giant bolt with strips of sandpaper on the end because I needed to sand the inside of a concave surface.
It was terrifying.
It was terrifying.
It was terrifying.
It was terrifying and not that smart. But,
No,
but it worked.
It ended up being fantastic.
It worked.
All of a sudden, I hear this jet engine and basically the strips of sandpaper that he linked together and put in the plexus shaft so he could go and
They were
drill
like
it.
flying around the room. And,
Yeah.
It was cool.
You're not a purist, but you have, out of economy, chosen to go back and do certain things to create your work. Describe one of the things that you keep doing that is also terrifying in the studio because it involves a lot of fire.
So I've started pouring ingots. And like you said, I started because it was cheaper and I had scrap. And like this project would have never happened if I actually had to pay for all the silver. But what I realized about like pouring ingots and making your own wire is that you can make whatever shape you want. Like I don't have to get specially milled wire. I can just roll it out.
So making an ingot, it requires a crucible and a lot of fire and a lot of rolling.
It's exciting.
It's exciting and
tiring.
it's scary, but anyway. He's experimented with a number of things, brought different things into our studio, the makamegane and the forging. I think we'll open it up to questions from the everyone here. So, what was it?
I was wondering, I have two questions. But the first is, how much has your teacher influenced you?
A lot, and it's not only Blair, it's like everyone in the studio, and it's a really cool environment where, like, you know, if you have a question, you just go and ask, and you have all these different answers and all this different input. And it's a really, really cool environment.
Well, and we all have different strengths, so even us learn from each other as the staff. So if he wanted to learn how to flesh set a stone, I'd say go to Helena for that.
Yeah.
Mulatto was bowl raising and enameling.
Yeah.
So we all have our fortes, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
I got him started. I got him hooked, and then I back away and let the sandbox be the playground. And
Yeah.
it's a great question. Yeah.
I was wondering also where you're going to go to school.
I'm going to Tyler School of Art.
Tower?
Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's Philadelphia. It's do you know Temple University? It's their art school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have a specific program in Silverworks?
Yeah, so their program is metals, jewelry, and CAD/CAM, which is really, it's really why I wanted to go there, is that they integrated the CAD/CAM component into their metals program, which really no other school does.
And you were accepted to Pratt as well, but
Yes.
you chose Tyler over Pratt because of the concept side of it, or?
Really because of the CAD/CAM component, yeah. But also I like the student work better. But, yeah.
Well, I have to just conclude by saying that Louis being part of our program has been just an amazing experience because of what we have been able to witness. And I've been sort of documenting it all the way along because I'm so proud of what he's done and what he's made us look like, frankly, because like I said, we got out of the way. He does a lot of this himself. He goes on YouTube, he explores things, then he brings it into the studio and he tries things, experimenting with things that I'm like, oh, so fortunately we've been safe the whole time. There have been moments when I'm like, oh, this is what's he doing now? But yeah, it's been a real pleasure to just watch this journey. And normally our residencies are 3 to 6 months, and after he finished his first little stint, we were like, you got to keep going. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to take, however you want to be there. He's got keys, actually, now to the studio, so he comes and goes when he wants. So hopefully after you get your college career started, you'll be able to come back and visit us in the summer. And not only has he just developed as an artist in a great way, he's also sort of become part of our staff. So he tends to man the studio occasionally, and he even saved me at one point when I forgot about a class that I was supposed to teach. And he dove in. He happened to be there that day. It was just a very short little class. And he taught it. So
Terrifying.
anyway. Good experience,
Yes.
right? Did you want to talk about this at all?
Yes.
Other than the fact that it happened.
Other than the fact that it happened. So this is actually really special. I don't know if anybody read this, but Freeze was entered into the National Art Scholastic or National Scholastic Art Awards, and first he won region, and then it went to national, and he ended up getting gold. So we all got to go to Carnegie Hall and
that was pretty fun.
watch that event, and that was fantastic. So,
Yeah.
so he continues to make us look good. So that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to talk about any stumbling blocks or moments of,
Oh,
fear
that's a
and
good
how
question.
you overcame them?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
But not to put you on the spot.
No.
No, that's a good one.
That's a
I
great
know
one.
You overcame them. So.
Well, I mean, there are always like the times of frustration, like when you melt something or that. But like, I'm trying to think of times of fear. I'll have to think about that. I'll get back to you.
seemed really calm and collected when you dropped the teapot showing it to me.
Oh yeah, that was fear. Yeah, that was definitely fear. And you know what? That prompted some tool making.
So he does have a tendency to drop things.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
drop
one
a
of
lot.
those things, which is funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for coming.